Hello. In this segment, we'll talk about wireframing. Wireframing, it's just a technique that is used to allow you to visualize what your end product will look like in a very simple format. You just need a pen or a pencil and a paper, and you should be able to have what we call a low fidelity wireframe, which is just you drawing each and every steps of your products. If it's a digital product, you will be drawing or just making a diagram, which is just going through lines, making squares and other squares and other squares, line for texts, and I'll show it to you later. And that will be showing each and every single pages of what will your product look like. If you are looking at making something that is physical, something that is tangible, then you're looking at making a first version of it, which will be just drawn and all the different angles of it, what exactly it will look like, until you can take that into production and have a final developed product. And I will just quickly show you what exactly you would do with a wireframe. And if I am given the opportunity to work on a project, or I'm working on my own product, and it's going to be a mobile application, and I would like to make a quick wireframe, and this will be a low fidelity wireframe, I will obviously have already understood what my users want. That is very important. First point, understand what your users want. You understand how you're going to put the information. You remember the information architecture, and you also know how they behave and what will make sense to them. So I will draw it and consider the fact there's always a top header there, and I will now just populate whatever I want to put in. In this way of doing your wireframes, you need to understand the principle of being very minimalistic, of doing things. You don't have to know how to draw. You don't have to do things like very detailed. You just need to make shapes. I usually say shapes because it's all about shapes. And if I want to make a picture, and I know that I would like to have a picture that is squared, I will simply draw a square there and cross it like this. This is usually what you would see when we want to make a picture. And if I want to make a rectangle one, I will just do that. So this will be a picture, that will be another picture. If I want to put a heading, sometimes you will just see people will just do something like that. That will be my heading for my texts. Or you can also just choose to write just, text. But then if I have like paragraphs, I will just do something like this. And then it ends there. And I would like to put in a button. I'll just put in a button. You can see how easy this was. Well, I don't think I needed a lot of money to actually be able to do this, because this is the starting point when you would like to go and have your product tested with your actual intended users, as we spoke about in the earlier segments. Once I have this, I can have another version of my wireframes, which can now turn into a prototype. So if I have a higher fidelity wireframe, which is just the definition of having this same version, but then using a computer to create it, which you will have specific links to the software or the website where you can go and download them and start practicing for yourself. You can create one which is actually higher fidelity, and that one can allow you to also create interactions. So you can make links between one page to another page, but still within this format of having your simple way of visualizing anything that you're doing. And this way you will specify that this one is actually gonna go there, and if this one goes back to this screen, then you do this and then you take it back there. Then you are already showing, if you would like to take this and give it to a developer who can develop this application for you, you can now have a way of showing him where exactly should the button go and then how can the structure look like. It's more about the structure of what your product will look like, and you have a backbone for it, you have a foundation for it, and whenever it has to be developed, it actually looks amazing. So key things to remember: you don't need to be great at drawing to do this, just like me. I don't know how to draw, but I could do this. You can also do it. Do not hesitate, do not make excuses. You can do it. It helps you visualize your products, and you don't need to have a big budget to be able to create this. You don't need to look for a computer initially to do that. Just use a paper. Just draw it. Start conceptualizing it. The more you visualize it like this, you can actually make a lot more changes. When I see it this way, it can really help me to say, this button doesn't look well here, so I should actually change it. And it becomes very cheap because all I can do is just scratch this and then make another one and say I would like to have the button there and my text there and a big picture there, and I will have here, and then I'll have some text there. So looking at this, it's been wonderful to actually go through this session with you. It's been wonderful to go through all these segments with you, and I hope that you are ready to make innovative products and product that can actually change people's lives and can actually give you a business that will be started and a business that will be strong, beat all competition, and understand your users properly.